the Cardinals have the easiest schedule in all of baseball. They're number 30 of 30 teams with 68 games remaining. They play, it's something like they only play around 20-ish games against teams right now that have an above 500 record. So look at this for the Cardinals. 11 games still against the Reds. 11 against the Cubs. 9 versus the Pirates.
Lord.
You even have 7 versus the Washington Nationals. So you're playing, Atlanta for a series, Dodgers for a series, Yankees and Matt Carpenter. That'll be fun for a series. Cool. Padres for a series. You still have 7 games against the Brewers, couple with the Blue Jays. You got Diamondbacks, Rockies. But you're playing, 31 games still versus the Reds, Cubs, and Pirates.
Dude, the
dumpster divers of your division. Now, the Brewers, they also have a pretty easy schedule. They have the 22nd ranked schedule, so that's about 8th or 9th easiest.
Yeah.
But the win percentage of the teams the Brewers are playing is .490, and for the Cardinals, it's .452. So the Cardinals have the easiest schedule right now, the easiest schedule remaining in all of baseball.
Okay. How many games is that? You say like 30?
Well, you have, just with Reds, Cubs, and Pirates, you have 31 of your 68 remaining games.
How should they end this last stretch, second half of the season, with all these crap-ass teams? Like, what would you be satisfied as an organization how they went?
So I think...
I'm bad at asking questions.
No, you're not. I think the Cardinals should win the division. And I'm saying that for a couple of reasons. So the Cardinals are a half game back of the Brewers right now. They both have 50 wins. As I just mentioned, the Cardinals' schedule is set up to win. The Cardinals are also getting healthy, right? Where Steven Matz was supposed to pitch, you're getting Tyler O'Neill back. I don't know what's going to happen with Jack Flaherty. That's not till the last month of the season. We'll see what happens with Yadi. I also think the Cardinals are going to make a move. I'm not saying it's going to be transformative, but I do think they'll bring in a starting pitcher. But another component here is that if you're watching the Brewers lately, Josh Hader, something is up.
Yeah.
Josh Hader is the best closer in baseball, and he's been giving it up for the last week or so. He's not right. I don't know if he's going to hit the injured list, but that man is blowing saves left and right. So if you're the Cardinals, you're only a half game back. You're getting healthier. You're probably going to make a move. Josh Hader does not look like Josh Hader. And oh, by the way, the Cardinals have the easiest schedule in all of baseball. When I look at all that, I think the Cardinals are going to win the division. However, I don't think that's saying what a lot of people think it is. In the National League, it is by far the weakest division. So just because you end up sneaking past the Brewers at the end of this season, which I think they will, but even if they don't, you're still about 10 games back of the Dodgers. You're still 8 games back, 6 games back of the Atlanta Braves. So I think Cardinal fans, they've seen this movie before in the last 3, 4, 5 years. The Cardinals have always been good, but they have not been elite. So I don't think winning the division this year, even though that's what Nolan Arenado said, we want to win the division, and we'll get to that. I agree. But if you win the Central and the Dodgers have 10 more wins than you, and the Mets have 9 more wins than you, and the Braves end up having 8 more wins than you, are you an elite World Series contender? We'll see in the playoffs. But I look at this division, and I do think it sets up well for the Cardinals to win the division.
Yeah, I get you saying. What are you saying, Sethy boy?
Cardinals are plus 130 to win the division. Brewers are minus 200.
I would take the Cardinals.
Steep gap.
Wow.
Yeah, I would too.
I would take the Cardinals in a heartbeat.
Throw some coin on that, Sethy
for
boy.
those odds.
If we are going to go out and get a pitcher, I know Montas has been a big talk. I think we should go out and get Noah Syndergaard.
Oh, my God. Does he
really
look awesome or what? Everything about that dude is cool.
It's a 1-year deal.
Thor?
They're paying him about $20 million, so it's steep, and we'll probably have to give up a prospect. My worry is we give up Juan Yepez, and he blows up in 2 or 3 years, because I see a lot of potential in him.
He's hurt, isn't he?
Well, yeah, the thing with Juan Yepez also long-term is you don't have a position for him. Like, I think Juan Yepez is going to be a good major league player for a long time. But when you're looking at the next 5 years with the Cardinals, you have Nolan Gorman. All right? He's more of a third baseman. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty athletic at second. Does he end up in a corner outfield spot? Jordan Walker is here pretty soon. I bet you Jordan Walker plays for the Cardinals and in some capacity at the end of next year. He's a third baseman that's going to get, he's going to grow. He's probably, now down the road, could he be a first baseman when Goldie's done? Is he going to be a corner outfielder? You only have one DH spot. Although I love Juan Yepez, it would not kill the Cardinals if they move him. Because I think they have a lot of bats, and they have a lot of bats on the way. And Juan Yepez, he just doesn't have a position.
Yeah.
He's a hitter.
I get you. No Syndergaard, man. That dude's freakish.
He's been there before. And after Michaelis and Wainwright, it just gets dicey. I don't trust Matz. I don't even know if he'll stay healthy after he comes back.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot with that.
And then Palante and Dak Hudson, I just don't know.
Well, he's hurt too, isn't he? Hudson? I just read that. But they got some time. They got about 6-7 days here. Regroup.
Yeah,
what do you think about the Syndergaard thing, though? Is that
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great point. You're going to have to pay a little bit of salary, for about half the year, but you wouldn't have to give up the crazy prospects that you would. Frankie Montas, you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up some guys.
Some big boys, yeah. Okay. Gio Fallon chimes in and goes, but even if the Cardinals win the division, they're probably not going to make it far in the playoffs because they don't have the pitching to get them that far. If the Cardinals don't make a couple significant moves, in my opinion, they won't make it to the World Series or even the NLCS. Sorry about the goofy voice there, Gio, but it just came to me.
I believe I said that.
I believe he said that,
I'm
Gio.
agreeing with Gio.
I believe he said that, Gio.
When you look at the division, if the Cardinals win the division, and hey, we want them to win the division.
Yeah.
That's great. But the Cardinals have been in this spot a lot over the last 5 years. Cardinal fans expect a winning franchise to go and also not just every year be that team that gets in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. And if the Cardinals end up winning the division by a game or so over the Brewers, if the standings hold right now, they're not looking like a team that has a great shot to knock off a Mets team, a Dodgers team, potentially a Braves team. That's my point.
Yeah, I get
So, look, if all these National League divisions were the same, if they all had around 58, 59 wins, I'd be like, hey, man, the Cardinals, well, let's see what happens. And Gio also mentioned about the pitching. I 100% agree. We all love Waino and Michaelis, and they're having really nice seasons. And that's why earlier in the year, when I was very high on the Cardinals, it's because we were expecting Jack Flaherty to come back and be Jack Flaherty. And when you start lining up pitching rotations in the postseason, if Jack Flaherty is your one, and then Waino Michaelis or Michaelis Waino, that top three just looks so much better.
Oh.
It looks so much better when you're lining up against potentially a Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, if you're lining up against a Scherzer, if DeGrom comes back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody is very happy with what Miles Michaelis and Adam Wainwright are doing. But if you throw Flaherty in there, all of a sudden, you're going into a series. All right, Flaherty's matching up with Max Scherzer. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But if your third guy is Steven Matz, Dakota Hudson, I don't think you're feeling fantastic entering that series.
Lawrence Pepperfield chimes in and goes, run from Montas and his shoulder problem. Yeah. Who doesn't have a shoulder problem, I feel like? The division winner is likely the only playoff team from the Central, even with the extra wild card.
It's going to be close.
You start looking at other teams. There's a lot of teams in the National League that are going to be in that mix. You look at the Phillies. You look at San Francisco has a shot. Obviously, San Diego. Right now, if you look at the playoff picture in the National League, there's 8 teams that you'd call legit contenders. Mets, Atlanta, Phillies, Brewers, Cardinals, Dodgers, Padres, and Giants. So you have 8 teams that are competing.
618 chimes in about Play It Again Sports. Anytime somebody wants to talk about one of our sponsors, we're always going to read it. Found a lefty woman's used set of golf clubs at the Kirkwood Play It Again location for my girlfriend. It was like striking gold. I recommend Cam visit for golf equipment. Unfortunately, they don't sell lessons. Matt from Tower Grove. Yeah, man, I'm not very good. I do need new clubs again. I need like a bigger head on the club. Mine's kind of like not big enough. I need mine's more advanced. You know, they're Nikes from like 5 years ago or something. I need the big club for like children when they first get into it, you know. I know, it's embarrassing. Gio's going to the game against the Yankees. Man, I might go to that mug, dude. August 5th, let's go. Kate, you listening? We might have to get a weekend game. Please tell me, because I can't do it during the week, Charlie. I can't stay up that late.
Let's look at the calendar here.
I want to go. I want Jimmy to be working. We should all go. We should all go there. Go to what's it? Right across the street there.
I'm a patios guy.
Patios. Let's go say hey to people, Charlie. Take some pictures. Drink some, maybe a couple shots people want to give us. We gotta hang out with the fans for a little bit. Then go in there in the second inning, cruise around, find Jimmy, get a cup of beer, and do our thing.
So how about this? You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, August 5th, 6th, and 7th, right after a Cubs series.
Ooh.
You have a Cubs midweek series, August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So you have a nice homestand, Cubs, and then the Yankees coming to town. You got a Joe Torre bobblehead on Saturday night.
Oh.
You got Prairie Farms Ice Cream Sundays coming up on that finale. And Matt Carpenter coming to town freaking red hot.
Jeez, Barstool even writing articles about him. Man, oh man. What a comeback for him. For the Yankees, too, with that squad to be a part of that.
Dude, his numbers are ridiculous right now. So he has, in 31 games, he's got 13 bombs, 34 RBI. He's hitting .354. He's on base .469. His slugging percentage is .911.
Jeez.
So his OPS is almost 1,400. It's 1,380. His OPS plus.
The woman?
His OPS plus, which we always tell you, so 100 is league average. He's 286.
Good Lord.
So he's essentially right now 3 times better offensively than the average player in Major League Baseball. And what's crazy is he's only played 31 games. Remember, he started with the Rangers, got really hot in the minor leagues, hit a ton of homers, bunch of power, and able to go to the Yankees. And then you start to look at some of the numbers in terms of Yankees, first player with 13 homers in 30 games, or a player that has multiple 7 RBI games in a season. Because Carpenter on Saturday night, he had 2 3-run homers. He had 7 RBI total.
Lord.
And you start to mention the names that have done this. It's Babe Ruth.
Never heard of him.
Lou Gehrig. Joe DiMaggio. It's those type of names. And this is, look, this is a streak of 31 games. I don't think anybody expects Matt Carpenter to do this for the whole season. But right now, it's incredible. And I haven't looked around, but you got to think if he plays the second half, this man should be your comeback player of the year.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Joe DiMaggio, is he top 5 or Mount Rushmore of the biggest wheels ever to come out of baseball? I mean, Marilyn Monroe, he was dipping into a couple things. He's up there with the G-Dog, DiMaggio. Who else is on that list?
So for baseball players that could wheel?
Yeah, the biggest wheels.
I think when you marry Marilyn Monroe, that definitely
you got to be up there.
That puts you up there. Now with him, I don't remember hearing a lot of other. Now, did he date a bunch of other starlets, a bunch of
but I don't
other
think
movie
he has
stars?
to. When you have Marilyn Monroe at her peak, and he was kind of goofy looking too.
A little goofy.
Yeah, wasn't he? Kind of.
I wouldn't say
he didn't look like Nolan Syndergaard.
Yeah, he's not Derek Jeter.
I mean, Derek Jeter's up there, but who else?
Well, I think Derek Jeter. It's hard to top Derek Jeter.
I'd probably say Rodriguez has got to be up there.
Definitely.
He's a superstar.
Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah.
But he's not. Jeter's list is incredible.
Yeah, well, he's up there.
Okay. But Jeter was single for his entire career.
He's number
in
1
New
then.
York for 20 years. Jeter was single as the captain of the Yankees from about age 21 till about 40. And then he says, all right, I guess I'll get married to a 28-year-old Sports Illustrated swimsuit model and have some beautiful kids. But Jeter went about 20 years of being single. If you mention any woman who was a singer, actress, anything, basically from the 90s and the 2000s, Derek Jeter dated her.
I know.
I think he dated Minka Kelly.
Yes.
Actress.
No, I'm saying everyone.
Everyone.
Just name a woman. Yes, he dated her.
Yes. Anybody strolling through New York.
You got to put A-Rod up there because he dated Madonna and Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, but Madonna, okay, don't make me say it again.
She's a celebrity, though.
Everybody dipped into that.
Jose Canseco dated Madonna.
Yeah, Mark
30
Messier
years
hung
ago.
out with Madonna. Like, she's hanging out with all kinds of dudes. Hey, she doesn't count. But the other girls, yeah. But But I don't know who else would be up there.
Matt Kemp dated Rihanna.
Okay. Damn, he did?
I'm sure it's not the only one.
I don't know. It is kind of a good question. Let's see here. He must have been hanging out. No, I'm not. He must be hanging dong if he pulled Monroe. I know. Like, how do you'd think she would be like, I don't know. That's a tough relationship to have with somebody like that.
Well, he was the best baseball player going for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, that helps.
It wasn't like he was some schlub.
But dating a girl like that, though, it's like, if you look at the pictures, he always looked miserable. Because no one even cares about him. She walks and everybody's like, oh my God. And, she's going over the vents and stuff,
Just constantly walking over
walking over those fences. Like, oh, I didn't know. I don't blame her. It's all good. So you do it. Oh, 7-part Derek Jeter series starts tonight on ESPN. Damn right, Sanderson. I'm going to watch that mug. Hopefully he gets down with it, though. Hopefully he's like, I don't give an F. I'm going to talk shite.
See, I'm not going to watch that. If somebody tells me, Charlie, I watched the first episode, it's awesome. He says everything. He gives all the dirt. He gets personal.
There it is.
I will watch
on
it.
TV right
I
now.
have a feeling it's not going to be that interesting because Derek Jeter is too perfect. I could be wrong.
And not to mention, The Last Dance is about as cool as you can get with the coolest cat. Now, Derek Jeter's a cool cat, but when everything Michael Jordan said was like, I took that personally. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where Jeter's probably just going to be like, da-da-da-da-da, I did this, I did that. I didn't like him that much. Where Jordan's just like, no, F that. It's a big difference, man. Jordan's about literally as cool as you can get when it comes to being an athlete. Hardcore, tough, doesn't give a damn.
I will say, as they're showing the promo, though, they have Derek Jeter sitting down, they have Alex Rodriguez sitting down, and there was a lot of banging of heads with egos there.
Oh.
And so there was a lot going on there. So if they get into that, I'll be interested.
I'll be interested, too. You got a lot of work, though, to make up for that Last Dance, because everybody's going to compare it to that. But even Jeter, with all the celebrity dates and stuff, like Jordan's just on a different level. He just is. Like, Jeter's not controversial.
Well, Jordan is freaking gambling all of his money away.
I know.
And look, some of the stuff around Jordan,
Dad.
There's a lot of conspiracies about his dad. I don't know if those are true.
Man.
In terms of his dad being killed, there's a lot of different reports about, hey, when he went to go play baseball, that was really David Stern saying you have to step away from the NBA because your gambling is out of control. Again, I'm not saying that that's true, but those types of stories have been going around for 30 years. So I do think there's a darker side to Michael Jordan that is more interesting because it's more human. Right. Whereas Derek Jeter, even the mistakes he makes, he's freaking perfect.
He's going to be like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. I forgot to take the trash out the other day, and
And look at the big scandal. The big scandal around Derek Jeter, which he denies. He denied on that Joe Buck interview show, was that he would give the woman, after they leave his home, after I'm sure a fun night.
Yeah.
After a fun night out, and they go back and they have a nice sleepover, and allegedly he would give them a parting gift. A gift basket, maybe an autographed ball, maybe a Yankee shirt.
Maybe she had to sign something, too, if you catch my drift.
Maybe she had to put her cell phone in the basket.
Yeah.
Sign the non-disclosure.
Yep.
But then allegedly one of these women had gotten the second gift basket because he had forgotten that he had her over years before. She got mad about it. Again, I don't know that that's true, but that's like the big controversy with Derek Jeter, which is nothing.
It's nothing
controversial compared to a lot of these other.
It's kind of weird.
Well, it's funny.
It's kind of weird. You got to give her a gift basket. Like she ain't gonna come back. Come on.
It's a nice gesture.
Yeah, it is. It could be a lot worse. It could be
autographed
a lot worse.
Ball.
You could set your alarm at 3:00 in the morning and act like you have a meeting at 4, so she'd leave. That'd be mean to do. You don't want to do that. Just gift basket. Keep them happy. Sanderson, what's changed with Marp? ? He couldn't catch up to the fastball his last year with the Cards and couldn't identify pitches. I mean, he's completely different now. I don't know, Russian gas or something?
Russian gas. Well, remember there was the big article where he went to Matt Holliday, he went to Joey Votto,
right.
And Joey Votto said, look, and Matt Holliday said, if I was looking at these numbers and the ball wasn't still coming off your bat with good exit velocity, and Matt Carpenter said, I would look in the mirror and realize I'm done. If the ball was not jumping off my bat anymore, if I didn't have major league bat speed, I can accept that.
Yeah.
But it was more so clearly it was something mechanic, because this man can still hit fastballs. He's hitting bombs. He's 36 years old. So clearly whatever happened with his final 3 years with the Cardinals, I know it's easy to point to Jeff Albert. And I do think that, look, the Cardinals hitting staff, they deserve some of the blame. Matt Carpenter deserves some of the blame. You gave him that extension. He was not worth it whatsoever. But clearly he had this in him. So I don't know what was going on. Sometimes, too, change of scenery. You get new people in your ears. You get a new hitting coach. You get a new philosophy. And I think
a new start.
You know this, too. Sometimes you change organizations. You no longer have that guaranteed contract. There's a motivation there.
Yeah.
If you don't have that $18 million coming in. Now, I understand Matt Carpenter, he's not struggling to put food on the table.
No.
But when you enter 2022 and you don't have a deal, there's a different motivation to your training, to your mental outlook.
Hey, when you go play in the minors, it's a smack in the face. Those bus rides, you know. Although when you're a big dog like that with coin, it is kind of cool to go down there and take care of the guys. They all look up to you. You do have but then you're like, okay, get me the hell out of here.
Well, that's the thing. To me, that's cool for a series.
Yeah, I know.
If you're a big leaguer and you're going down for that rehab stint, and you always hear the story, Max Scherzer bought everybody a steak and a potato, and he spent 50 G's on the spread, which is great. But once you're down there for 30 games, Matt Carpenter is like, dude, I'm a big leaguer. That's where I look at Paul DeJong. The other day, Paul DeJong had a nice game, 5 RBI, and the Memphis Redbirds, they put out on their Twitter account a post-game interview with Paul DeJong. And he was great, but I'm thinking to myself, if you're Paul DeJong and you spent the last 4 or 5 seasons in the big leagues, okay, it was cute at first.
No,
it was cute at first
over.
to go figure it out in the minor leagues. But now when you're doing the post-game interviews and you've been down there for 30 games and you're essentially a minor leaguer, I'm not gonna lie, it's not fun.
And Kate knows this too. Kate, remember when I first got sent down after like being up 8 years, 7 years, whatever it was, and we're in Jersey, and we got that $4,500 a month rent. I couldn't get rid of it, and then I was on a 2-way contract, but I was rolling the dice to be able to stay up, and they sent me down, Kate, for the first time, and I'm like, oh God. And I was kind of going through a weird time too with weird things, and you know when you're neck deep in something at the time, your hookups in that area. My hookup in wherever we were in Albany, I didn't really have one. So that was another thing added on to getting sent down and getting less money. I'm not on a one-way deal, so I got this 45, just a lot. And I bawled. I cried for the first time in a long time. Bawled. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? No, but I was like, whoa, wake-up call. I got a lot of weird. It was hardcore. Now, a lot of that's self-induced. Those guys probably don't have to deal with that. But a lot of it just was, at the time, I'm telling you, man, it was hardcore. And not to mention, I'm going down there, and I got to fight these monsters that are chomping at the bit, that are salivating in warm-ups. The camera, you want to do it tonight? You want to do it? I'm like, okay, I got you. I will. Yep, I got you. Camera, hey, give me one, man. Give me one. All respectful. Don't get me wrong. They always respected. No one tried to jump me or anything. Camera, and I'd always give them. I'd give them that fight, you know, just because I had to do that with the bigger guys back in the day. So I'm fighting these guys. They're just trying to make it. They're throwing from downtown on me. I have no motivation to fight. I'm going through weird times. I'm playing in front of 400 people. That sucked.
Well, they had way more to gain.
Hell yeah.
You had a more popular name.
God, they were throwing from down. I didn't know anything about a lot of these guys. Oh, this guy's a lefty. Oh, okay. Dang, 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 dang. Like, Jesus.
So who called you? Was it Lou?
No. It was Marie Carnival. Remember that Kate just knows. And I'm like, you see your phone, and you know it's Marie. And Marie's Lou's secretary, the secretary. And I look, I'm like, oh, God. And she goes, hi, Cam. Lou wants to talk to you. Oh, God. Hi, Lou. Okay, Cam. Listen, I know it's going to be tough, but we got to get you, sent you down. We got injuries. I'm like, oh, boy. I'm like, oh, okay. So go down there and get your work done. Ooh, and then Kate had to stay up there. So I'm on a road trip. Now she's in this big place by herself. We got a dog. We got to living in a hotel. Listen, I'm not asphalt ceiling, but I'm just telling you, when you're used to something, and you're living luxury, got a place looking over the city, like, look at it, and then now you're like, okay, reality check. Let me look at my account. Yep, I should have saved more money. All right, I give all my softball groupies a jewel rip and a ride home on my 49cc scooter. Maybe drive through McDonald's for breakfast burrito if it was especially fun. Theodore sandwiches.
Teddy,
that was a good one. My softball groupies, a jewel rip.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like, I'll take one of those. Jewel rip. Doesn't even get you high. Mitchie chimes in and goes, why is Yachty being so unclassy? It's shocking to see him tarnish his legacy like this. Get your ass to St. Louis and earn your damn contract.
I think that's fair.
Wow.
Don't you think at this point?
What's he doing?
This has been a story now for several weeks. I just think it's a very bad optic.
What's he doing?
And over the weekend when you see video where he's at the game of the basketball team he owns in Puerto Rico and he kicks the ball, which is funny because, hey, you're getting ejected from the game. I like the passion, but the Cardinals, they're paying him $10 million. This is his last year. They have a lot rolled out there for the ending with Waino and Albert Pujols. And
what the hell is he doing?
I don't know.
It looks god-awful.
Look, something clearly, for personal reasons, he showed up later to spring training. We don't know why. There could be something there.
Yeah,
but clearly, he did not show up in the typical Yachty shape and is not playing like he has in previous years. Now he's injured. But again, man, you're making $10 million. I know you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're going to be a Cardinals Hall of Famer. The fans here love you. But at this point, it would help the young catchers if you were here to mentor them. And I think that's a very bad optic when you see that video that he's watching the basketball team that he owns and he's not with the team.
I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, though, I'm calling him like, get your ass back here. Get your ass back here. What are we doing? Embarrassing. Who do we got? We got somebody on the phone? Gio, what up, baby? Gio with the deep voice.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Chilling, man. What are you in? Are you in a submarine or something?
I am in a submarine, actually. Yeah, submarine. They call it The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, great movie, early 90s.
I was basically calling because you guys were talking about Noel Syndergaard, and I actually saw that over the weekend. That there was actually some kind of, now I don't know if it was fake. Charlie could probably confirm that. Just the clipping that I saw off another sports website that the Cardinals were in talks with the Angels in a package deal that Noel Syndergaard was going to be sent here, and they were going to work something out, and also the Braves were talking with the Angels as well. Because the Angels, let's face it, their season's pretty much over. So I know people say, "Oh, there's a chance." No, not really. But I was looking at Syndergaard's numbers, and I know his ERA is at 4.25. But if you bring him to a team like the Cardinals, who have the outfield that they have, I think that ERA comes down. Now, what are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah, so right now, Noah Syndergaard, 14 starts. His ERA is right at 4. His FIP is 4.05, so essentially the same. Does not strike out a ton of guys like he did previously. He has 58 strikeouts in 74 1/3 innings. But I agree with you. I just think if you plug somebody like that in to be your third or fourth starter, that's just a nice, reliable for half a season, I'm saying, because Noah Syndergaard also has injury issues in terms of his whole career. But we're just looking at him starting 15 games this year. So I think that's a nice name to throw out there, and you wouldn't have to give up a ton. He's making $21 million a year for just this season. So you got to pay what? About half of that, a little less than half of that. Yeah.
Yeah, get him.
Again, I'm going to keep bringing up the same names over and over again. They could go after Syndergaard. That could be good. They could go after a more upper tier to give more players away, which would essentially like Michael Pineda, what's his name in Oakland?
Montas.
Montas, yeah. So they could reasonably do all of that, or go after. That seems to, in my opinion, to be more of a Cardinal move. The Noel Syndergaard type move, even though at one point he was a top-tier starter in New York. Now he's not that, so it seems like he's right about the wheelhouse of where the Cardinals do business.
Yeah,
and to say that because
no, look at the deals the Cardinals made last year for starters, who at the time their numbers were much worse. When you look at Jay Happ, they had to trade John Gant, but John Gant was a pretty serviceable pitcher, contributor in the big leagues. You make that deal for John Lester, and you trade Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas is having a decent year, but the Cardinals had other prospects, so I think you're going to have to give up more clearly than John Gant and Lane Thomas to get somebody like Noah Syndergaard, who's much better this year. But then again, he's making more money, so the Cardinals have to pick up that contract. I mean, when people throw out a name like Juan Yepes for Noah Syndergaard, I don't think they're that far off. I think something like that probably makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Big Gio, by the way. Charlie, does Yadi's absence ruin his and Waino's chance at setting the starts record?
Okay, so let's look that up.
He's cutting it close.
Where they are.
What's he doing? What the hell is he doing? And you think the Cardinals would put their foot down and be like, get back here. It's embarrassing. What are you doing? We need you here.
It's odd.
I don't get it. Who's running the show? Man.
All right, here. Let's look this up. So they're going for that record where I feel like entering the year, then they need about 2022-ish.
Yeah.
I should know this.
I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to come up short.
He's hanging out in Puerto Rico.
He would have to be back by the start of August, I believe.
Man, I think know.
He's probably like 10 to 12 starts away. I don't know for sure. But
okay, so this is an article from late May, and it says the duo has started 311 games together for St. Louis, third all-time behind Warren Spahn and Crandall.
Crandall.
Is it Del Crandall? 316. Mickey Lolich, Bill Freehan, 324 of the Detroit Tigers from 63 to 75. So Mickey Lolich, Bill Freehan at 324. So this article is from late May, but you're getting to a point where if you're 10 or 11 or 12 away, you're starting to run out of time.
Yeah. Yep. You got to be here to get that. Sanderson, okay, Chuck, didn't find any Starbucks on the interstate to stop at. My son had to go, and we had to make a very sketchy stop in Nashville. I learned truck stop bathrooms are really where it's at. It just depends, dude. Like, I know I don't have kids, but I got to go to the bathroom, too, on the road trips, and I like to pick and choose the good spots. Really weird about that. I'm weird about a lot of things. Pie in the face, bathrooms, this, that, and the other flying. What else? God, a ton of stuff, and it gets worse every day. Let's see. It probably helps that Carp got on a team that wants to win a World Series, just not to get into the wild card and playoffs. Yeah, but, like, baseball, like, it's kind of individual at the plate. Like, no, yeah, it's nice that they're winning games, but, like, he still got to hit. He's got to do good.
Here's the other part of this. If Matt Carpenter was hitting 13 homers with 34 RBI in 31 games the last 3 seasons, the Cardinals would have been much better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another part of the Carp story is that the St. Louis Cardinals don't have the type of payroll where they can have $20 million contracts that are dead weight. And that's one of the reasons that in previous years the Cardinals were not as good as they were from 2011 to 2015, is you can't have Dexter Fowler making 16 and not playing.
Yeah.
You can't have Matt Carpenter making 18 and a half and being essentially a bench bat who you're forcing into action. Like, if Matt Carpenter was not a beloved Cardinal, he would have been DFA'd in previous years. If Matt Carpenter was not making 18 and a half million, whatever it was, he would have been DFA'd.
Yeah. How about that Marcus Stroman quote on getting away from the Mets organization? Did you see that?
I did not.
He's getting bashed pretty good.
Well, the Mets are good now.
I know. It's weird.
And you play for the Cubs, bro.
And then he goes, try to find it, but it's like he brought God in the mix, too. Like, this was like, God helped me or helped me get away. So weird. Or it could be fake. I don't know. You know how it is sometimes in those quotes. What do you say
I'm
there?
trying to find it here.
This was back in February.
Did I get duped?
This one wasn't recent.
No. It's all good. So why is anybody not talking about the Mariners?
Mariners are good.
They're
They're on
good,
the come up. I said they would win the division, which they're not going to because they're miles behind the Astros, but they have a lot of potential.
Mariners have won 14 straight ball games.
Yeah, baby.
But Houston is really, really good.
So Stroman tweeted out back in February, he said, just look at the Mets and who they hired as their GM. That tells you enough. His lack of awareness in his previous position is being exposed to the public. I'm beyond thankful I'm gone from that organization. God got me.
God got me.
Okay, well, right now...
that's pretty funny.
So that's kind of hardcore.
Well, I like Marcus Stroman, by the way.
Do you?
But God got you in a place now where you're on a team that's 35-57. You're 14 and a half games out of first. The Mets are in first place in the NL East. They're a really good team. And hopefully DeGrom comes back. They have a very good chance to win the World Series and be a legit contender. So, Stroman, I know you said that a few months ago.
That's a jackass comment.
It's not really working out the way you wanted it to.
It's a jackass comment.
Well,
and then you bring the poor Lord's name involved, too. like he had anything to do with that.
By the way, if you're Stroman, so I know the previous Mets GM, who was formerly an agent, is gone. So you have what? You have Billy Epler, who's now the GM of the team. And apparently Marcus Stroman deleted that tweet. So the previous GM was Brody Van Wagenen, who was a player agent before that. But here's the deal with the Mets, dude. I don't want to say it doesn't matter who your GM is, but you have an owner in Steve Cohen who doesn't care.
Yeah, get
him. He
will
spend anything.
Damn right.
Dude, look up Steve Cohen.
Yeah,
look up the fine he had for, I believe it was an insider trading type situation. This man cut a check with a B on it. He don't care about a little bit of a wealth tax, right? He doesn't care about the luxury tax.
With a B on it?
Okay, look up. This is one of those things where I read this years ago. Steve Cohen, look at the fine he got for his fund.
Does anybody ever interview him in a baseball podcast? He'd be an awesome interview.
Here we go. Cohen may not, this is from 2020. Cohen may have not made his fortune legally. His firm pled guilty to securities and wire fraud in 2013. SAC Capital paid $1.8 billion.
Oh!
$1.8 billion in fines, according to Bloomberg. So again, if this man had to cut a check in fines for $1.8 billion, do you really think the luxury tax scares him?
Hell no.
Do you think the little bit of luxury tax in baseball when you go over a certain amount? No, he wants to win a World Series and he'll buy it.
So why would Marcus Stroman say that and want to get the hell out of there?
He was chirping the GM.
Yeah, but whatever. Like those are big time. That's a big time statement.
He got into it with Portnoy about a year ago too. Mm-hmm.
That's not good either. That's kind of a lose-lose right there. You chirp the guys on the way out, and you're chirping Portnoy. Like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Guys, maybe the Cards do know what's going on with Yachty, and they're trying to be discreet about the issue. It could be a mental health related, and they don't want to violate his privacy or make issues worse for him somehow. Yeah, okay, but what if it's then? I mean, I don't know, but the optics again, they're getting. So he's got mental health problems. Now you got to hide it while he's over there. You can't tell anybody. And now you look like a jackass because one of your guys that you're paying $10 million who needs to be here with Kisner to help him is out there doing his own thing, hanging out, partying. It doesn't look good.
That's my whole point. And it's why I've said a million times.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know the situation. He didn't show up at camp initially for a personal reason. There could be something going on. And I don't even want to speculate, but you never know. With family, there could be something going on there. So I don't know the situation, but also it seems like if you go back a couple weeks, the way Cardinals management and players were describing this situation, if you read or heard Ollie's comments, John Mozeliak's comments, Adam Wainwright's comments, it seemed like they were all through the media trying to communicate with Yachty and say, come on back. Like, it also seemed like they didn't really have a fantastic grasp of what's going on. So that's where look, there might be something going on, personally, but I think when you're at the basketball game, when you're at the basketball game and you're into it with your team that you own, I understand that. The Cardinals are also paying you $10 million. And even if you can't play, I do think in your final year, they're rolling out all of these logos and giveaways and Yachty and Waino and the last hurrah and Albert Pujols. And you have young catchers. You have Herrera who is up. You have Kisner. You could help those guys. You're a wealth of knowledge. You're 20 years in Major League Baseball. You're an icon. Like, you can also be with the team and help the team even if you're not playing.
Yeah, if you do have mental health problems, like you got to hide out and you got to say something at least. Like, I have to be at home right now. You got to give somebody something. Can't just like, oh, I'm just going to be here doing. It's really, really bizarre. You know, if you have mental health issues, like, you should be at home. Then,
well, that's what a texter is saying.
Yeah, I know, but it's always like, oh, he's got mental health problems, but I don't know. Look, a lot of people do. I get that, but I don't know about this one. Triple Lakes Club Pro Champs that goes, no, lots of people have mental health issues and still show up every day for work. I know, man. Damn right.
And we haven't heard about any of that in the 20 years he's been on the team.
Like, say, but you got to be like, I have to be at home right now. There's something I have to get right. But
and
right?
that's where we can speak to the things we know. Here's what we know about Yadier Molina. For about 20 years, no one cared more about the Cardinals in terms of showing up, being a pro, showing up in shape. He showed up to spring training for years.
Oh, well, yeah.
20 pounds lighter, showing up in fantastic shape, even as he aged into his mid to late 30s. And so this year, that was not the case. And also there was a personal issue at the beginning of spring training, which we don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good. Hey, guys, I just went to the grocery store, and they're out of lotion for the anticipation of Matt Carpenter coming back with the Yankees and his standing ovation he will get. He will get one. I don't know about the lotion thing.
Should be salsa.
I mean, well, I get what you're saying.
Cardinal fans, though, that Matt Carpenter relationship, the thing we forget is that Matt Carpenter, unfortunately, after about 7 really good seasons, he was really bad for 3 seasons.
Yeah, well.
And that's where the Cardinals, they gave him too many opportunities. That's my whole point about if Matt Carpenter doesn't have the contract, and if he's a guy they bring over from another organization, they DFA Matt Carpenter. But it's hard to DFA a guy who's, he's one of these longtime Cardinals. He's our guy. He's got the contract.
Yeah.
Like the Cardinals, they don't DFA guys like that. They just don't.
No, I know.
They DFA guys like Ty Wigginton and Nick Whitgren. They're not DFAing Albert Pujols.
No.
They're not DFAing Yadier Molina. I promise you. They're not DFAing Matt Carpenter.